and he will be recording the session.
Okay.
Namaste.
Hey, namaste.
Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our pleasure that you joined.
Thank you. So sweet of you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, Hema.
Yeah, my pleasure. In fact, I just stepped in. I logged in immediately after stepping in. I rushed home. Had another meeting with my schoolmates. Catching
Nice.
up after 40 years, catching up with my schoolmates.
Oh,
So I said, there's another important meeting, and here I am. I
Thank
didn't
you.
want
Thank
to
you.
be late.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So until people join, I'll just about our book club and what we are doing here right now. Actually, EBC or Elegant Book Club online is an online book club, as literally means. What we do here is we select books for a month, and it can be books from different genres, different authors across the nation or even international authors. For this month, we had the book Where Rainbows End by Cecilia Ahern. So, and what we do is we select the book and then we decide a date when we are going to discuss this online, and then we do the discussion. And during the discussion, we will have multiple perspectives coming about the same book, and we all of us enjoy it. Right now, we are a community of 200 plus readers across India. It's not considered in a particular area, but we have different chapters at Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, and we are very much excited to start new chapters at, in Kerala and Mangalore. So Kerala will be super soon. We are planning a meet at Ernakulam, and Mangalore is planning to start on 10th. So that's how we're expanding. And the Elegant Book Club are 4 different people from different parts of India. And the best part about that, we haven't met in person. Not enough. We haven't met in person, and still we connect a lot with each other. And one is me. I'm from Kerala, Kavya, and then we have Ashwini. Hi, Shikhar. Thanks for joining. Then we have Kanchan ma'am. She's working right now at Dubai, and then we have Jaya from Chennai. So we 4 of us, we came together last year around this time, and we decided, okay, we should start the book club as soon as possible, so that working professionals like all others. I'm not working. I'm still a student. I'm doing my PG. So working professionals should get a chance to read and enjoy the reading process as they did in their childhood. And so we started with hardly 15 members, and now we have around 200 members. It is really overwhelming. Within a year, we grew a lot, and we met a lot of people, like lots and lots of perspectives, cultures, all of them coming together. It's a very overwhelming feeling for us. And the best part about EBC is that we have different opinions. Like unity and diversity perfectly fits in EBC club, I feel, because we've come from different backgrounds, but books the only emotion that binds us together, and we feel so happy after every discussion. You can see the flush of happiness on our faces. It's so happy. Even the authors are happy, and we have authors in our groups too. Like we have around 5 to 6 authors, contemporary authors. Then we have aspiring writers, we have content writers, we have singers, we have people from different walks of life. I still don't know. I've lost the track of who all belong to what all, because we have artists and writers and musicians and poets. It's like wow, super wow. And not every time we get to meet everyone, but still when we connect, it feels home. It really means a lot to us. So that's a small brief about our club. So as you can see, people are joining, and I think more people will be joining soon. I think, ma'am, we can start by 7 minutes. It's 5, 5, 6 here, 5, 7. Let more people join in. So yes, guys, Ankita, Shikhar, Sakshi, how are you all doing?
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining today, Jayanti ma'am.
Oh, thanks. I'm getting to know many new people, and it's always a pleasure knowing people. uh, and she said about the friendship, virtual friendship. I have lost count of how many virtual friendship who I've never met any time in life, because those I know in person, they are far lesser now than the person I know virtually, right? So
Exactly.
that's the era we are in, and it's so obvious these days. So everyone, I think, especially after the COVID, so
Yeah.
thanks for, and I think everyone, if they can show their faces, it'll be good, right, Kavi? Anyways,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can start.
sure,
We can
sure.
start, Kavi, anytime. I'm ready.
Yeah, sure, sure. I was just waiting for 5, 6 more people, even from my
Definitely.
team, so that we can start
Sure, sure.
recording. I don't want to
Sure,
miss
sure.
any question.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yes, author Devika, you had something to share?
Yeah, so like virtual friendships you were talking, so I would just like to say that even Jayanti ma'am and I were virtual friends first, and then we met in person. I must tell you, oh my God, it was a dream come true for me when I met her in person, because I don't know how the universe conspired that we connected virtually. and
Mm-hmm.
and after that, whenever she comes to India, I make it a point that at least I should meet her once.
Yeah.
No, actually, it's at times very frustrating that our best friends are so far away from us and we cannot meet them. Because meeting in person and you're talking, even Shikhar and I are good friends, so we are like, when will we meet? Shikhar is in Delhi. I am in Kerala. How are we going to meet? We just meet through these meetings. Then we have Ankita. Ankita is also from Kolkata. Sakshi Nair is
I
from Mumbai.
I think, is it even necessary to meet?
At times we feel, at times we feel.
True friendships can stand the test of time or the virtuality or whatever you call.
Yes, yes,
True
yes,
friendship
yes,
can stand all that. Meeting is, and
yes.
you know something, Kavi? These
Hmm.
days, long distance relationships are going on. That's the world we are
Exactly.
living in. So, what
Yes,
about friendship? Friendship can withstand anything, not
yes, yes,
relationship, anyways.
yes, yes. True.
I'm with
So we
So,
you.
have.
I'm with you there. Yeah. See, the thing is, I feel very fortunate that we are able to connect through this media. Like you said, we can't meet in person, but here, the moment you invite us for a meeting, we are there, bang on dot, wherever we are, we log in and we'll join. So I think I should. I'm so grateful to this
we
electronic
all,
media that
yeah,
we are
we
all
all
able to see
save so
Samsung
much
speakers
time.
at least.
We all save so much of time
Exactly. Exactly.
in travel, traffic
Yes.
jam, nothing. We just
Yes.
log in and we are meeting,
Absolutely.
right?
And wherever you are,
So,
while like time
yeah,
zones are different.
I know.
Yes.
so,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter even if you don't meet. I've had that kind of an experience.
Yes.
Even my longtime friends, we haven't met, but we never feel we haven't met because we
Hmm.
always keep connecting. So
Hmm.
these days, that's how it is.
Yeah. Exactly. Even actually, it's a kind of boon that we have technology to connect us, and
Yes.
we can actually, as Jayanti ma'am said, even I have this experience that people whom I know directly in person are less closer than the people whom I know here
They
in
are very
Bangalore.
near. They are very near you, but they are far away,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But those who
Yeah,
are far
idea of
away
privacy.
can be near you.
Yes, yes, exactly.
That's how
And
it is.
we have Nitesh here who has started recording, so I think we may start. And we have our friend Dr. Rehna here. Hi, Rehna. Can we just see you? Ankita and Sakshi, if possible, can just turn on your cameras. You can turn it off later, it's fine. So, yeah. Yes, Ankita. Hi.
Hey, hi, Ankita, Sashi,
Here we have Sakshi Nair. Sakshi Nair is from
Asha, and then Shikhar.
Yes, yes. Vilina. Hi, Vilina. Hello.
Vilina.
So let's start our session today. Welcome you all to Elegant Book Club's yet another author session. And today we are here with our dear beloved author Jayanthi Sankar, who is the author of different books. But today we are here to talk to her about When Will You Die, her recent launch, along with a little bit of chit chat about her author life, her personal life, and as we were talking, different perceptions about life and all this stuff. So I hope you all are ready with your questions. Let's shoot one by one, but let me just begin. Ma'am, we know that we usually start every author session with an author bio. So what I would like to do is, rather than me talking about, your bio by hearting certain facts. I know facts because I've been working with you for like 2 to 3 years now. We met in 2020, right? After the publishing of
We never met.
I mean, yeah, virtually. So we had our first conversation about Misplaced Heads, and I did a review of your book, and then we connected over Instagram and then on WhatsApp. So after that, we had chit chats like via phone, and I came to know better about you that you have received lots and lots of awards, and you have other books. Then you have a recent book. So if you are to define yourself in a one line or one sentence, how would you describe it? And because I know that you're very picky with titles and subtitles and name of your chapters and all this stuff. So if you are to describe yourself in one sentence, what would it be, and why would you say so?
Thanks everyone, and thanks Kavi for the opportunity. Describing myself, I'm a person, work in progress person. I think I will evolve till my last breath. That is one thing. And I will add that also I'm a writer in the making. That's all.
Okay, person and writer in making.
Yes.
Person and writer. I think we all are doing the same, right? I was doing my B.Ed, I studied a definition about education, that education begins from the womb and it lasts till the tomb of a person. So it's very very wide definition, actually. Very hard to totally what to say, grasp the essence of that particular definition. But I think it's very true about everyone, because that definition is not
I am
talked
like
about.
everyone. Am I not?
Yes, exactly. It's not about academics. It's not about what you study at in your textbooks or
No,
in
the
school.
good. No, what I have found myself is I'm good at unlearning, relearning, unlearning, relearning, and that brings me forward in life, in career, anywhere. So I unlearn very fast. I relearn very fast. That's one thing I believe many people have
Difficulty.
commented, and they wish to also get inspired by that. And the good thing is that closest friends of mine, they found out this part of me. I unlearn and relearn fast. So it was not me who discovered that. So it was my closest friend. Yeah, that is one thing.
Yeah. So from what you have answered, now this is going like you go for an interview.
Oh,
Right. So I just want to know three topics that you have unlearned and relearned in your other life.
three things.
Three things that you have learned and relearned in your other life.
Three things. I have so many. Three things. Okay, let me see. One thing I learned very fast in my initial days of writing. Naturally, I am not thinking about life.
Okay.
I discovered, I tried writing something from my life. One or two came in the earlier times. So that's where I tried relearning, meaning people do write, right, your own life. I never wrote. Even today, I'm not my the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one thing I tried to unlearn and relearn. Now, other thing is, I learned in the initial years not to write while I'm writing about something, not to write whatever I know about it.
Okay.
I unlearned that because it's very natural for a beginner to do that. I'm writing about something, an essay or a short story. I have so much to share about that. It is not right to dump everything over there and to write what the story really requires and to keep the other things aside. It can come handy some other time in some other fiction when we write. This I learned also myself. So third thing, what is it? Third is to approach any text that comes to me from a budding, emerging aspirant, uh, to to approach that with utmost kindness, because I may have come very far to where I am today. Everyone has to begin somewhere. I did also 27, 28 years ago. I began somewhere. Now they are beginning. So I put away myself to look at the text with the um, like I said, utmost kindness, and mm, I bring the person to us to a mindset where they can really be receptive of what I can suggest, because not everyone can take suggestions. It takes some time for the person to know me first, right? Otherwise, it looks like a criticism. It's not. For the person to know, it's not criticism, but it is a help. It's a tip for you to improve. It's in goodwill. So that I learned because earlier on I used to criticize. Meaning, at one point in time, I used to be critical about it, but I unlearned and I relearned to be the kindest um, guide, or sometimes it comes to the level of mentor. I have become a mentor to many who really believe in me. So these are the things I have learned through my journey, and I'm learning a lot. The learning goes on and on. So yes,
Okay, ma'am. So while you were speaking,
yes.
I'm an English major student, and I do have a paper on literary criticism for like 3 sem, if I'm not wrong. My second sem is going on.
Mhm.
And we have to learn about what is literary criticism and who is the real critic, etc. So when I was randomly going through your website, I found that you have mentioned yourself as a critic there. And I think you have spoken with that maturity about three things you said. And as a person, as a reader who has read Jayanthi ma'am's work, I have read Misplaced Heads. She said the first thing that she never writes about her personal life. 100% true. Misplaced heads, because we as readers have this unconscious wanting, or we have that thought ki, what if this is something related to the author's life? But then once you finish a book, you understand no, there's no way this is going to be related to the author's life. Then you said about about constructive criticism. I believe you did not say that you should be critical about it. You said that you shouldn't be critical about it, but you should be giving a tip, or you have help being a mentor. So even when your books faced criticism, you took it with so much kindness. I'm not sure if all the readers took the text with kindness, but you have taken all the criticism with utmost kindness and patience, I believe. And then you said the disassociation of author from the text, which is definitely criticism, like literary criticism. We have that particular theory to study, which is said reader response criticism, where the book has to be dealt and the reader decides what is particularly in the book. Then we have new criticism, which is also a part of English literature, which you talked. I'm not sure if you have read about any of this criticism or not as a part of your journalism, but you spoke with all these constituents in your answers. So I'm so happy that
I know none of those.
yeah.
Maybe inertly, without even realizing, I have acquired all that. You can continue,
Yes,
please. Sorry.
yes. That shows a proper, mature, growth of a reader. You said that you started it 30 years ago. So
Yes,
from that starting point,
27 to 28. Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like from the point where you begin to the point where you are today, and these learnings are reflected in your writings and the way you speak, the way you give answers. And I'm so
Thank
happy. I'm
you.
so satisfied with your answer today. The 3
Oh,
points you said that you unlearned and relearned.
okay. Thank you. So you said about criticism. I mean,
Yeah.
receiving criticism, right? While receiving criticism, I look at where it comes from.
Hmm.
I don't look at the person who's saying it, where it comes from. Is it genuine from a genuine, reader reading, or is it a superficial comment, or is that reading of hers or her reading journey, how long is it, or how deep it has been, what she reads, what he reads, the reader. So for me, criticism is important depending on where it comes from. And if I'm getting three criticism from a same source, out of that I will know which one is really helpful to me, or which are actually true, which are not to be taken. Because once I finish the final draft of my final rewriting of my novel, I know myself. Did I
Hmm.
score? Where did I score? Where did I not? Where and did I do better than the previous? I know with my experience, did I bring out what I had in my mind? So I know it. And when
Hmm.
I get criticism from readers, I will know. I will know where the reader. If one reader is matching the criticism I had in my mind in the final stage, if one reader with one point is able to match that criticism, I I fall for that reader. It has happened many times,
Hmm.
and they have become my good friends for life. A criticism which matched with my own criticism of my own work. When it matches, they become my lifelong friend. So, criticism need not be taken bitterly.
Yes.
Criticism has brought many friends to me. Friends, they began as a critic of mine. Something they criticized or something they said, but it matched with what I had in my mind. I loved it. So that's how it is.
Yes. You're really true, because being a reader, when we read lot of books, and we actually nowadays it's easy to connect with the reader. I mean the author. You can connect on Instagram. You can connect on mail, and authors are very interactive to their readers. So at times when we post some kind of critical comments of their work, it's so hard for them to digest, and it actually frustrates me. See, what you have written might not have aligned with my thoughts and my ideology, and I have the complete freedom to express it just the way you have expressed it in your book. But I don't mean that you are a bad author because of that. But I just said what I felt. And I believe that as an artist, an author is also an artist, I believe. Artist who is, an artist is a person who keeps on chiseling themselves every time, and you have to be, you have to accept criticism, and then, as you said, you have to segregate the critical, opinions, which is meant for me, which is meant for which I have to exclude. But when authors bluntly, attack on us, we feel really bad about it. And then I understood that this particular view of accepting criticism with kindness comes with a lot of maturity. It doesn't come overnight. It comes with a lot of mistakes and understanding, as you said, unlearning. So yeah, as you said, criticisms
I
are very
I
much important.
I approach another text with criticism
Hmm.
with utmost kindness. But when I receive criticism, my intellect plays more.
Hmm.
That's why nothing goes in me as personal. The
Hmm. Hmm.
moment
Hmm.
a creator, a poet, or an author, novelist, fiction writer takes it personally, that's when the attack and all comes. And I've never had such
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
when I have had unreasonable, shallow, blatant criticisms, and I have crossed them silently. The
Hmm.
same person would come later on and take the same topic in a different mood. Then come, let's talk now. You know,
Yes,
at
yes,
that moment, the person wasn't in a proper mood. Whatever I
yes,
say wouldn't enter his ears, let alone the
yes.
head, you know. So
Yeah.
that's how I handle. I have had even criticism that is nothing relevant to my writing, but more to more for as a person or my personal life or my
Hmm.
so much whatever. I've had all that kind of. I've crossed all that also. The way I dress, I maybe or the way yeah, anything, personal.
Present
So
yourself. Everything.
yeah,
Present
so
yourself.
yeah, that's why. So I have had all that kind of criticism as well. Those are, of course, not at all relevant. I don't even respond to them. I just
Yeah.
cross.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, ma'am. Actually, such insights are very much important to us who are, aspiring writers or even readers. They need such kind of mentality. As you said, when you said that you have to deal every text with kindness, I think majority readers here would definitely take that insight instead of approaching a text with the mind that after first sentence or first page of the book we almost know how the course of the book is going to be. Either we know how the language would be or we know how the character introduced would be. So instead of going with prejudiced views, we need to approach things with more kindness because kindness is something that we lack in our surroundings nowadays. So moving on, I'm keeping on blabbering. So I'll just move on to Shikhar, you have anything to ask to our author? Please
Yes, I do.
give us more intro and then you can move on to your question.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So, Jayanti ma'am, I just wanted to ask you, I have seen a few books from you. Like, I know you have launched 4 books so far, the first being launched in 2019. So, I believe that must not have been the first thing that you ever wrote, right? So, what was the first thing that you wrote and when was that?
Yeah, he has calculated the years and he knows no one is going to wait so long to get the first book launch, right? He's very smart, done a very good investigation detective. Well, 1995, I started writing and I did on both languages, my mother tongue as well as English, both, for about 3 years. And I suddenly came up with one idea that I should not be doing riding two horses at the same time. So what I thought, let me focus on my mother tongue for 2 to 3 years first, and then come back to English, right? Come to English. But what happened was my mother tongue uh, held me till 2015, which is about 20 years. 20 years, my mother tongue kept me with her. I didn't expect. I thought I would come to English within 2 to 3 years. if I had chosen English then, to think of coming to my mother tongue later on, I wouldn't have come at all. But here, not after a few years, but after 20 years, 20 long years with 38 books, I was with my mother tongue 20 years, 2015, okay? 2015. So my English book was first launched in 2019, Dangling Gandhi, short stories, 12 short stories. And I'm writing in English and it'll be in English till my last. And I'm working on my fifth novel. You got an idea of what was happening behind that 2019 Shikar?
Most definitely. Thank you so much for answering that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you, Shikha, for the question. We have few questions in the chat box. I'm sorry, I just lost track of them. First question is by Hema ma'am here.
Yeah, okay.
As a transnational poet or author, a dash of vernacular is used to engage the audiences better. As authors feel they establish to connect with all classes of readers. Your thoughts on that, ma'am?
My thoughts on that. Let me go to the yes.
Yeah, sure. In the chat section, you can find.
Yes. Based on what you mentioned, the physical appearance. No, not that. Yes. Transnational poet authors, a dash of vernacular is used to engage the audience better. As authors feel they establish connect with all classes of readers. Your thoughts on? For me, I don't know. I'm like this. I'm a plain person. I don't go for flowery words in writing or in such meetings. When I'm the main person discussing, talking, I'm a panelist, or I talk like I'm talking at home to a friend. So for me, I think flowery languages or particular vernacular is not needed. It's my opinion. It's just my opinion. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. We can go to the next.
Authors have different ways of conveying their ideas, and I think it totally depends on what kind of genre and what kind of story you're writing. If vernacular is written, you can add it. Definitely.
Yes,
ma'am. Thank you, Hema ma'am, for the question.
Thank
then
you.
Then we have one more question from Hema ma'am. Okay, based on what you mentioned, the physical appearance and the sartorial choices are more important to certain people. Okay, that wasn't a question. She was commenting on what we had discussed.
Sure.
Now we have Vilina. While writing a recent novella, you must have done a lot of research on themes. Vilina, you should read her Misplaced Heads. You would be like dumbstruck to understand how much she has gone deeper into fragments of information. Can you please tell us what do you refer for the themes of grief and social psychology? If you did any research on them, and do share your thoughts on such themes, ma'am.
Frankly speaking, for the recent novella, When Will You Die, I did the minimum research, rather no research. Whereas the book Kavi mentioned, Misplaced Heads, I did a lot of research. Obviously, because it has the backdrop of the 1,000 years of temple dances, the heritage and dance forms and their lives, the lives of those temple dancers and the colonial intervention, how that changed their lives and all that. So I had to do. So I did a lot. But whereas this one, the socio-psychological novella, didn't require much of research, I would say, compared to Misplaced Heads or Tabula Rasa. Tabula Rasa is purely based on how Singapore was formed. 200 years of its history is interwoven in the novel. So it's a fiction, but it has a lot to give you, you know, in knowing about Singapore, how it really was formed, what Singapore went through, and all that. Because we celebrated 200 years of Singapore formation in 2019. So I came up with the idea, and of course, it takes time to write and rewrite, and it was launched only in 2021. So those two books require a lot of research, not the recent novella. You must have not done. Can you please tell us what the theme of grief and social psychology? Um, I did another thing you must all remember. When you read, you will know in When Will You Die? I did not touch any of the complex terminologies the psychiatrist or the psychologist would use. They were not relevant for my story. My story went on and on. A psychiatrist who will read my story can think of these are the terminology. Or this is what this character is depicting that that. Let them think. For me, it was only the storyline and what are the challenges the characters are undergoing. And I felt past COVID or during COVID, the mental health awareness was worldwide getting more attention, obviously, because humans were trapped inside their houses and they had mental issues and all that. So, so my character, one character, Joseph, was in grief and depression. Obviously, he showed certain. I didn't do any research. That's the thing, The character itself moved forward, and if I said I did some research, it's a lie. I didn't do any research, but I heard a psychiatrist reader has read it and felt that I have done some research, which I didn't. So this is the answer to that. Do share your thoughts on the theme, ma'am. Yeah, these are the things.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So it's actually unbelievable to people who have read your book.
Asha has read. Maybe she wants to say a few words. Asha's recently, last week, she read it.
Okay.
When Will You Die? Maybe she wants to say something about it. I mean, before we go to the next, and she can also end off with a question. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Asha, ma'am, over to you. No, ma'am, you're on mute actually.
Hi.
Hi.
It's nice to connect. Thanks, Jayanthi ma'am, for this. Joining. We got introduced in back, 2 or 3 months back. You saw that you show time to this or writers.
I think
actually I experienced.
There is an internet connectivity issue, Asha. Your voice is breaking actually.
To me.
I think it's the network. Network.
So my problem.
Okay, ma'am, can you leave your question? Love to know what your question is. Yeah, there is a serious network lag. Network lag. Okay. Sorry,
someone else can ask a question before we go back to Asha, maybe.
Sorry, ma'am. We'll be definitely. Then we have few questions in the chat box.
Yeah.
Rehna is one of our first members in the club, and she's still here. She's a doctor by profession, and she takes a lot of time and effort for Elegant, which makes us feel so happy. Even today, she's not well. Actually, she's having sore throat, and still she is here attending the session. and taking part. I'm so thankful to Rahina that she's here.
Yes.
We'll read your question, Rahina. So,
Yes.
as someone with so much experience with writing and publishing, tell us how easy or difficult was it to publish your first ever book? Please also share your views on traditional publishing and indie publishing. Which one do you prefer or recommend to upcoming writers? Okay, this is from a writer's perspective. Rehna, I see Rehna, in some time she will be publishing something. So, ma'am, what do you have to say to her question?
Traditional and self-publishing, is it?
And how difficult it was to publish your first ever book?
Yeah, before I go to my first ever book, let me come to, um, uh, you know, um, self-publishing or in was that traditional. I think the myths like one is superior to the other have dissipated in the recent years, right? There is no difference anymore. Big names in publishing industries have even started catering to those who are willing to invest, like a hybrid publishing. And so vanity is no more a vice these days. So everyone is publishing, self-publishing their works. It depends on everything again boils down to the content of the book. When the content of the book is good, with literary value, it can stand. Many self-published books are doing very good. I know, I have read a few. So and there are books that are substandard, who have been so-called traditionally published, right? This is what I believe in. As for the first ever book is what she's asking about. So I won't say about Dangling Gandhi, that was 2019. I won't talk about that. I think I will talk about the first book in my own language, right? My mother tongue. 1995, I started writing. My first ever was published 10 years later, 2005. And what did I do for 10 years? You may ask. Did I even try publishing? I was only writing, happily enjoying and writing. Folders and folders of short stories and novels. I didn't bother about getting published. There was one friend, a co-author, you may say, whom I've never met, like similar to what we were talking earlier on. He has read many of my short stories, and he came up with an idea. He said, some of them are very good, worthy of becoming a collection. Why don't you think of that? I said, I don't know anyone. I have a few publishers in my mind, but I don't know whether you will like. I don't know publishers. I don't know publishing. I've been writing for 10 years. I have everything in my folders. I love writing. I'm writing. That's all. No particular goal or aim. Just the passion, the sheer joy, childlike joy, I would say. It's there, folder after folder. Those days we used to have floppies and discs, right? I used to have so many folders. And I lost many of them. That also I must tell you. And then he said, I will recommend you to this publisher. And he took the Word file and he gave it to a publisher in India. And that's how my first book got published. And at the same time, another friend, she's a good friend for very long. So she took my novellas, three novellas in one collection to another publisher. And another friend took my essays to a third publisher. So 3 publishers, 3 books, 2005, 3 at a time they were published. So I didn't knock doors. But when I came to Dangling Gandhi, I started 2015, right? 2015, and it came out in 2019. Those 4 years, I knocked the doors of at least 40 publishers with my sample chapters and my pitching and query letter. At least 4 of them converged to almost getting accepted. But for some reason or the other, I didn't accept all of them. And I just put it away and concentrated on my Misplaced Heads novel research. That's when I came to know from someone that there is a upcoming publisher who's interested in good books, English. Then I just, without any faith, because I already had so many emails that I never got a reply. And some of them I got a reply saying it's such a fantastic work, only we are not taking fiction. By so those, and there were a few who rejected. So folders and folders in my email I collected, it was all there. But when this went to Zero Degree Publishers, after 2 weeks, they said they want to read the whole. They after sample chapter, they wanted to read the whole book. Then I sent. After three more weeks, they called me from India, and the very first thing he said, "We are doing this." I said, "Thank you." So how did you decide on this? They said they felt like reading Haruki Murakami's short stories. I almost swooned. I almost fainted that day because he's my favorite, all-time favorite. I said, maybe you're flattering me. No, that's what Gayatri felt. She commented and all that. And they went for voting among themselves. They read one story a day, 12 days and all that. They commented and they voted. And I got 6 out of 7 votes. And I was interested in that one vote. Who didn't vote for me? I was curious and I asked him. Of course, I didn't ask him the same day. After a week, we talked again. Then I said, "So you're interested in that person who didn't vote for you? Why?" I asked him why. Because he's more of a marketing guy. He's more into sales. And he said, will these short stories even reach? Who will understand? Not everyone can read these short stories. So selling point of view, he said he's not favoring. So, but it got, and I was very happy. I was never asked to touch any part or do this, that, and all. Normally they do. So it got published. So that was the first English. So first Tamil, first English. I have told you the story behind.
So yes, thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. I have a question, but
Yes.
since we have a bunch of questions waiting in the chat,
Yes.
and we have people waiting here to ask questions, I'm sure Sakshi Nair is having something to ask.
Yes.
So I'll keep my question for the last. Okay.
Sure.
So Sakshi Nair, over to you.
I would like to ask, in your free time, what do you prefer doing? Like, you like reading and in your free time, or you prefer writing in your free time?
Interestingly, who has free time these days? And I know the spelling of free time. I just know the spelling of free time. I know. But I mean, jokes apart, if I have, assuming I have nothing to do, for example, I go, either I will read or I will go to my, nature reserves of Singapore. You all must Google and see. Our city has beautiful nature reserves. I just go there. I love to be with the trees, surrounded by trees. That walking among those trees really rejuvenates me. And in fact, during Misplaced Heads, I wrote most of my chapters and dialogues and things in my head when I was among the trees. And I used to walk talking to Purna, the protagonist, or Purna will be arguing with me, And that's how the novel formed, shaped. Um, in fact, I used to think like her at one point in time. I was becoming Purna. It may sound so surreal, but that's how I felt. I was kind of possessed by Purna, the character. So I used to go, I always go to nature reserves, and reading is one thing. And if you're talking about what I do as respite from my regular, for example, I have my chores, domestic chores. If I don't cook, I won't get to eat because I'm a strict vegetarian. I don't eat out that often. I love to eat simple food but homemade. So I have to cook every day. Cooking means cleaning, housekeeping, this, that, everything I have. And in Singapore, we have no helpers. So I do all the helping myself. and then and then of course I write, I read, and I paint. And what I do is, if I'm getting bored of one work, I switch to another work that is waiting for me. When I get tired of that, I switch to reading. I go to, so it's only switching and never uh, passing time or using the free time. No free time. Yeah, but I
That's
love,
actually
yeah,
Thank you,
I
ma'am.
love reading, but yes, because
no,
reading is what I reading is what brought me to writing, right? If someone is going to put a gun at my temple and ask, you have to choose one, only one, between reading and writing, of course I will choose reading. I will choose reading. I may just give up writing. Yeah, it's a pain, but since I have to choose only one, then
Yes.
what you may
We
ask
all
why.
hear,
You may
we
ask
all
why.
hear our, yes, ma'am.
You may ask why. Because through writing fiction, I get to live hundreds of lives, but through reading fiction, I get to live thousands of lives. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Even we are here, like the readers here would love to have someone who keeps gun at their head and tells that you have to read today. You have to read and do nothing else. Because even we want to be indulged in reading that much, but we don't have time, as you said. Some of us are working professionals, some of us are students, so it's really hard to have that balance. But even if you say that you opt for reading over writing, we totally understand you. We totally understand you. So thank you, Sakshi, for the question.
Thank you,
We
Sakshi.
have more questions in the chat, and
Yeah.
Hmm, after we stopped at when? Yeah, we have Rashmi with her question. Being an author for a long time, how do you see yourself right now? Also, what all challenges have you come across in the growth of yourself as an author? Okay, we have covered the relearning and unlearning part of this question. Apart from that, what all changes have you seen in yourself as an author?
Reading brought me to writing, and reading and writing helped me evolve as a person. Reading helped me become a better writer, and writing helped me evolve as a better human, better than yesterday, every day, better than yesterday. I wouldn't be the person that I am today if not for reading and writing. Spiritually as well, I have evolved so much, and the most interesting part of this all this is that in my formative years, I didn't show any sign of any symptom of becoming a writer, because I started reading seriously, passionately when I was in my mid 20s. Till then, what did I do? I used to read like anyone would read, not as seriously and passionately. So even today, after 27 to 28 years, even today in my family, extended families, members, they don't believe that I'm writing. They don't believe. Is she writing? Yes, yes. It seems she's writing. Yeah, I heard, I saw. You know, because they saw me as a child or a teenager, how I was. I was an introvert. I, I, I would answer in one word, two words. So, but some of them, like my sister herself has said, everything was going on here. You didn't rush to try writing. You did it at the right time. That's why the very first piece that came out was mature. Rather than writing at 16 years old, you know, some of them do. You started at 27, 28, and that's why you began as a mature writer and all that. So I'm very grateful to the universe for having made me what I am today, and I feel blessed that I am capable of writing. Not just writing, I'm able to guide so many people. I'm also motivating many people and inspiring many people, and I'm very grateful. I don't know how to even express that. Yeah.
Yes. So, ma'am, we have someone who has been, who has raised his hand for a real long time. His
Oh,
hand might
yes.
be pinging, so let me just call him out. Shikhar, what's the, what's the question you have?
Thank you, Kavi. So, ma'am, we were talking about how you handled criticism about your books in the beginning. And again, we somehow revisited a situation that you had six people in favor, but one person was against, and that one was from marketing and sales perspective. So, I want to know, how did you handle that situation, and how would you talk to that person now that your books are actually successful?
uh, I will ask him what was going on in his mind while when he after he read it, and what in his perspective would sell the same set of stories, what I should do into those set of stories so that it can sell. Not that I'm going to change and republish, not that. Curiosity, how he would want me to change them so that it sells. Because I am a very good fiction writer. I know that, but as for selling part, I'm a zero. So, so selling and that marketing, promoting and all, I'm zero. I'm a zero. So, and maybe a lot to learn there, right? And it takes time and effort. Perhaps I'm scared my mind might divert to unnecessary things, because creative mind has to have that complete freedom and space, not restricted. So that's what I will ask that guy.
Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am. So, since we're talking about marketing here, we have a question based on marketing. And
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. There are two questions in the chat, one by Kushi and one by
yes,
Asha Baby.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, I'm moving on. Actually, we
I
have got a
given in the
question from
chat.
Ankita also. Yes, ma'am. Asha, ma'am, you have something to say?
Yeah, I given the question in the chat.
Yeah, Kushi's
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Asha's are in the chat.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, and Ankita is also remaining. Ankita has asked you, what is the source of your inspiration for your stories? It would be great to know, ma'am.
I think this question I often I'm asked this question. So I think from the inner and outer lives of people around, humanity at large, and Singapore and her people occupy most of my fictional world, because I have lived here for 33 years, more than lot more than what I lived in India, so where I was born and brought up. And I have noticed again and again that you know mm, I touched Singapore, the people of Singapore, the issues in Singapore, the lifestyle and things, because I am always watching. That's where I get my raw material from. And of course, when you write about profound characters, psychological sides of the characters, it's common almost globally everywhere, almost, because any human with depression shows almost similar. Although, of course, I must agree here that depression by itself has a wide spectrum. We cannot put them into one single phrase. Nevertheless, it's global, right? The emotions, pains, hurt, disappointments, anxiety. All these are, I think, universal emotions. So I think my characters who reflect or depict or I build them like that with psychological issues and what they go through, whether they change, whether they don't, if they don't, what is happening, and this, that, Anyone from anywhere in the world can connect to that part of things, right? That complexity. Although I'm writing about Singapore, for example, a migrant worker in Singapore, whatever he's facing, psychologically, will be almost similar to a migrant worker in a state in India or in the US or anywhere. So that universality, that universal element of the human emotions, the human pains, celebrations, experiences, joy. Those are the, right? And that's where I can connect with readers of other lands also, right? So I take my inspirations from people, their lives around. Did I answer the questions? I don't know. I think so.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, pretty much. Then we have the next question. Thank you, Ankita, for the question.
Thank you, Ankita.
Question by Khushi.
Yeah.
Khushi has, posted a question that's connecting to the previous discussion we had, which she has initiated. Like, how much role does marketing play, considering the context of the book as well?
Okay. We live in an era, of inevitable, deliberate publicity these days, A book getting quick attention need not be an excellent one. In the same way, a book with slower attention is not necessarily inferior, right? That's my belief. Time can be a formidable obstacle in such creative pursuits. If I complete a book within a year, I publish it in that time frame, and I want to become the bestseller. That's the craze everywhere. I want to become a bestseller within the next year. Those kind of time, that can be a big hurdle in the journey of creativity, in my opinion. So regardless of promotions or marketing that may get, short-term attention, a good literary work, literary art can stand the test of time. That's my belief again. My belief. Therefore, for me, marketing and promotion, as I said before, are Greek and Latin to me. I'm in the process of trying to learn, but I'm also in the process of preserving my creative space and not getting diverted, right? It depends. Again, it's all about time management, I think, these days, but inevitable, really inevitable that we are caught in this era of promoting, and at times, in the name of promotion, in the name of marketing, people are overdoing certain times, where, in that flood of overdoing, good works, literary works are washed away, just washed away to unknown places, because the marketing and promotions of the affluent people are so much that the attention goes to substandard works. So I am for it. At the same time, I'm not for it. In the sense, there should be a balance, I think, in how we do. In the end, content matters. The literary value of the book matters. Only that can stand the test of time. Like I always say, even after I go away, my work will stay. Only if my works have that literary standard, right? So that's the thing, whole thing. So a good book need not have all the attention. A book that is getting all the attention need not be good.
Yes, yes, exactly. Totally agree with it because even we as readers usually have this discussion in our book club, in our WhatsApp group, about how trashy the Indian book field is becoming with just romance books with the same thing. The thing about romance books is that you're putting the same wine in a different bottle. We know what the bottles are going to be. We know what will happen to the atmosphere because almost all authors, right from the classical authors, have explored this field. There are lots and lots of other things that need to be addressed in our nation, and people are still clinging on to romance books. It's actually sad. Okay, you want to write romance book, okay, you write it, but bring something new, something new for us as readers. And the sad part is such books get a lot of hype, to be honest. I'm not trying to blame or belittle any author, but there is an international author about whom we usually discuss in our book club, that's Colleen Hoover, who has written lots and lots of books, but she got the limelight in, I think, probably 2 years ago, max to max 2 years ago. That's when she got her publicity working out well between bookstagrammers, and everyone started reading it. And to be honest, there was nothing new. We also got into the rat race. We spent time, we read the book. I'm not saying that her books are bad. Her language is superb, like awesome. You can feel every pulse of the word that she has written. But when taking the book as a whole, as an entity, the literary value of that book, I doubt. I seriously doubt. But there will be Colleen Hoover fans over here. I'm not trying to offend you, but this is what I have felt. And specifically talking about Indian marketing or Indian publishing, I would say the market is filled with books with romance and college romance, couple romance, and all this stuff. While we have a lot of other things to explore now, you can find a shift from romance to either thrillers or mythological adaptations. There is a slight change in the trend. We can find mythology being highly focused by new upcoming authors, because mythology, I believe, is a beautiful canvas with lots and lots of gaps in between. So you can fill colors as you like, and you just need the right color to match. So, yeah,
Basically, for any reader of any age, a reader, people think that a writer grows, evolves. In my opinion, as a reader, you must grow. As a reader, you must evolve for the better. Don't stick to one genre or one set of authors. Explore different genres, different authors, and graduate yourself after 2-3 years to serious literary works. Slowly graduate. Don't get stuck in one level. So when you grow as a reader, like I did, unknowingly, I had no mentor, no guidance, nothing. It happened naturally, God willing, probably. And it happened naturally. I grew up as a reader, sorry. As a reader, you must grow. So when you grow as a reader, there are high chance that you will start writing. The moment you got stuck up with a romance or a thriller or a mythological, if a person, young reader, is trying all genres, for example, romance, thriller, mythological, everything, I'm sure that person is going to graduate. But if the person is stuck in one genre or one author, adamantly, stubbornly, then there is no growth in a reader. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely true. So moving on to Asha ma'am's question. Ma'am, the story was really touching. I believe she's talking about When You Will You Die. She just
Yes.
messaged that she just finished the book. So,
Yes.
ma'am, the story was really so touching, and I finished within 2 days. It touched my soul. The way you have written the book, written about the relationship between siblings, especially when one is troubled, one and the other has responsibility of taking care of him for lifetime. When it's not your life, how do you write so well about relationship, their feelings, and everything?
Oh.
That's my first question.
Like I was saying just now, right? Universally, the emotions or the feelings, joy, um, grief, everything is universal. So for me, I'm a person who empathizes very well. Empathy plays here. I become the character. I think of myself as Susan when I write. How will I talk? How will I lament, whine? How will Joe react? I have to become Joe there, right? Become Joe. Use his language, however foul or however pleasant it is. In reality, I may not even use one word of anything near vulgarity or wrong words. Never. That's my character. But when I write, I can't be writing like who I am. Then I will be Susan, I will be Joe, both. Then where's the difference? I cannot be myself when I write. I cannot be everywhere when I write. I cannot be Susan, I cannot be Joe. I have to become Susan, I have to become Joe. Susan cannot be me. If Susan was me, she uses certain bad words in that. That's her character. She has to use. That's the character. So if I were to create Susan as me, then she can't be Susan, and because she can't be that the way she is, so I have to become. That's why I live hundreds of lives writing fiction. I always say, while reading fiction, I live thousands of lives because the writer has written and I become the characters that she or he has created. Right? So, role playing while writing, becoming the character. That's why during when will you die, those chapters when they were unfolding, most of the times I was like Susan, but sometimes I got bored with being Susan. So I thought, okay, today I'm not Susan. Like children, when my younger son, he used to, during his kindergarten days, every day when after alighting from the bus, he will say, so what have you cooked? That will be the first question. Second question will be, Mama, I'm going to become fireman. Okay. Previous day it was something else. Previous day it was a police or maybe a doctor. And the next day it will be something. So every day he imagines himself becoming. Whereas in my novel, I have created plots and storyline and arcs. These are the characters. I have to become the character, to be like the character, to write like the character, do the funniest of things, do the worst of things that are unimaginable, which I would never even, dare to do in my life, right? For example, Susan drinks whiskey and things, for example, right? Have I even touched wine? No, not in my life. But I can't make Susan that way because Susan is Susan. So I will become Susan when I write. That's why I'm living hundreds of lives, right? So did I answer your question, Asha?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually,
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
very much.
I got it. I got your answer.
Thank
And
you.
was it difficult for you to write about a person who's entirely different from you?
Initially, when a person is beginning to write fiction, they tend to write about their lives all the time, or
I do that.
is it? Okay. So they tend to write about their life all the time, and it's not wrong. It's very natural and it's very common. But you got to get out of it at one earlier the better. If you're not getting out of it earlier, you're going to get stuck there and you may stop writing. So when you want to write fiction, you have to think like this. How long can I write my own life? Am I going to pursue writing for very long, like I did? If I'm going to pursue writing for very long, get inspirations from other real life people or incidents you read here, for example, when I travel in train or bus, my ears are very sharp. I hear two people conversing, or one person talking over the phone is enough for me. I get what the other person in the other side of the world is talking to him. We can feel, and I get a story there. I feel the jigsaw puzzle, right? So that's how we have to come out of that. Thinking about my lives, my worries, my incidents in my family. Don't restrict. You must spread your wings and think, and that's when you can write more for long. The actual fiction happens, imagination, creativity can really happen, and you can explore and analyze certain issues in human lives. Those things you can do through your characters and incidents. So we can't write long if we are going to write only about our lives.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Sure.
Thank you.
Most
Yes,
welcome.
that's so true, because when you find your writing is exactly as yourself, there will come a time when you are like, okay, it's enough, it's done, it's more than, you become limited. One thing I noticed about ma'am's answers during the conversation, I was just saying that in the initial part of the discussion, she said that you have to keep your writing apart from yourself. It should be different. And at the same time, you said, when I'm writing about Susan, it's not me. Susan has to say. And you say that with so much of, emotion. Means you're that close to the character.
Yes.
Yet you are apart from
Yes.
it. So how do you maintain that healthy boundary with your characters?
Until my manuscript reaches my publisher, it is mine. Once it is reaching my publisher, it's no more mine. It will come as a book and it goes to the readers. It belongs to the readers.
So you break up with your characters once.
And I go to the next work that is waiting for me. Unwritten chapters, half-written raw chapters, they're waiting for me. I just go there. It's no more mine. After it's done, it's done. It's no more mine. In that sense, while I was writing Misplaced Heads, I was living the character of Purna, the dancer, right?
Yes.
Almost my age, in that, maybe 1 or 2 years elder to me, as per, okay. I was living her, living like Purna. So much that there is a child, one child coming in that novel, Ananya, okay?
Yes.
2-year-old or something. I have a young friend who has a 2-year-old daughter. She had come 1 week during my last stage of my draft. Her name was something else, some Ishita or something, And I know, my brain knows. But I called her twice, Ananya. The child was looking at me. This auntie can't even remember my name. She was telling through her expression. I realized, oh, I'm doing this. So So I was into the character so much. When I saw the child, I was calling her Ananya. So, so that was one of a few things happened in that madness, living the life, living like Purna, living Purna is what it is.
Yeah.
Living Purna. I lived Purna during that year,
Yes.
and it's memorable.
Yes.
And that's probably one reason I live so many lives, and that's probably one reason I age faster. At heart I'm still young. That is different. Someone noticed and told me this: you live too many lives writing and all that. So it's a kind of madness, and it's needed for the creative experience. Yeah, thank you.
Exactly. Yes. And ma'am, we have one more question from Hema ma'am. Talking about the test of time, what writings do you expect to go down the line? In today's context, we have more writers than readers. Under such circumstances, what writings do you believe would stand the test of time?
Thanks for asking that question, because people don't see beyond 2 3 years. I wrote last year. End of the year I got published. This year I'm promoting. Next year I will make it Amazon bestseller. Have the label. I have achieved something big in life. No, I don't think so. It's too superficial. Um, So, what can stand the test of time? Like I was telling, what can stand? The works that demands the participation of readers. My works cannot be read by everyone. Asha will agree with that only when she reads Tabula Rasa and Misplaced Heads. They are not easy reads.
Okay, ma'am.
I told you to read this book first because it can be a warm up for the other two, I thought. Because Misplaced Heads also and Tabula Rasa are heavy reads. So, what does that mean? What is heavy read? The book or the narrative that is demanding the full focus of the reader.
Reader.
Full focus of the reader. And such a narrative, such a fiction, what does it do in the reader? It creates an experience in the reader, because the writer has created a world, a set of characters, people are moving, are having incidents, this, that, backdrop, everything. But when the reader is participating and experiencing it, taking that experience as hers, she's almost doing what the writer did. And this kind of reader's participation in the novel only can remain in the reader for long. Like certain pulp fiction or romance on things where it's a triangle all the time, right? Triangular game is what romance is all mostly about. You read it, you buy a book, you board the train, wait for the people to sleep. At 10 o'clock only you can sleep. You are still having a bit 4 hours. You can finish that book, right, within 4 hours, because it doesn't require your focus or full attention. Because the language is simple, the happenings are like that, and you can relate to the previous romance that you have read. So this is how it's going to go. This is how it is. It doesn't require hard work, effort from the reader. And when the reader is alighting the train in the morning to walk towards the cab stand or whatever, the book can go into the trash. That's all it is worth. Time pass, they call it time pass. And the time taken to read is less, and the time the book goes to the trash is less. The time the fiction escapes the brain is less, and therefore the time that kind of a book stands in the world is less. Whereas a book that can demand the participation of the reader. So, how can that happen? How can a fiction be written to demand the participation of the reader? These things I tell in my workshops. Anyways, that's okay. How can that happen? When you leave unsaid words, because unsaid words are what the readers will have to infer on their own. If you're going to tell everything, stating things, obvious things also, if you're going to keep doing through your narrative, the reader has no work. Therefore, it escapes the moment the last full stop is coming. It escapes. So time, so short time it is. So did I answer your question, Hema? Thank you.
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you, Hema ma'am, for the question. Now we have Shikhar again with
Yes, please.
hand. So yeah, over to you, Shikhar.
So I have a fun question for you this time. You mentioned that you make sure that the stories of the books are not inspired from you, but you still get into the shoes of the character to ensure that you are presenting the best out of the character. And I believe even as readers, while we are like reading about these specific characters, we subconsciously take out some traits of those characters and we like somehow take them in our personalities as well.
Mm.
So, as the writer, which character would you say you found the most relatable?
To myself,
Yes.
I think Purna, Purna of Misplaced Heads, uh, I can relate very well because, like I said, I lived Purna for a year. Even today, when I think of Purna or Misplaced Heads, or say, suppose someone is calling someone Purna in the bus or a train, my Purna comes here, and how I went through that 1 year, that all that comes. So literally, a total fictional character has become a character by itself in me. So I can always relate, and I love that character. And of course, Tanya, the foil of another important character in Misplaced Heads. Tanya is an interesting contemporary young woman, also a contemporary dancer. So I like her character also. In Tabula Rasa, Leeway and Kumar, the main characters, for the contrast they are in nature. Uh, I mean, it was not intentional, but it happened that way. Later on, when I was reading in the last stage of thing, I realized the contrast has come out so well. And the contrast was needed for the storyline, the graph. And it had happened. Those two characters also I can relate to, although they both are men and they both are nowhere near any of the men in my life. Two grown-up boys, my husband, none of them is not a bit like those guys, right? In my fiction, those characters are what I will relate to in my creations. Yeah.
Thank you, Shikhar, for the question. So, ma'am, we are around 4:30. We have half an hour more.
Sure.
So we have one more section that is rapid fire round.
Yes.
Where you have to answer quickly in maximum 3 words. Okay? Ready,
Quickly.
ma'am?
3 words should be not so difficult, but
Yes.
quickly.
It's like one word questions.
I see. Okay.
And participants in the meet, if you have any such questions, you can drop it in
Rapid
the
fire and all comes for those TV shows and all. Why do you include in
Our
this?
orders are no less than celebrities for us.
I'm not talking about celebrity or not celebrity. I'm a writer, that's all. I mean,
Yeah.
why bring rapid fire here? Anyway, let's have fun.
You'll understand while you listen to the question.
Oh, okay.
Okay, ma'am. So, first question in 3 words. What are your top 3 go-to genres in reading?
Fiction, fiction,
Okay.
fiction.
Only fiction. Great. Okay.
I mean, I do read other things, but fiction is my area, my forte.
Okay. And who are your go-to fiction authors? 3.
Haruki Murakami, Chimamanda Adichie, Khalid Hosseini.
Wow, super. Awesome selection. Even Chimamanda Ngozi and Khalid Hosseini are my favorites.
Okay.
Fans assemble in the chat section. Then we have one question, yes or no type of question. Do you plan to release your books in Hindi as well?
I have no such ideas, but if there is an opportunity, I wouldn't say no or something, because I never close my mind at any opportunity that comes by. I will really consider. But I have no idea.
Okay. Marketing, like huge marketing or organic readers? Which one would you choose?
Organic readers.
Okay. And positive reviews or negative reviews?
Actually, positive reviews, negative reviews, rather than those two, I would love a healthy debate with the reader.
Okay.
Let the reader say both. Let me
Okay.
take both. Let me debate on that. That kind of debate is what I love.
Okay, ma'am. Book influencers or readers? Which one do you prefer?
Readers, real readers, organic readers.
Okay, okay. Now we have one more last question. So the question is, will you ever write a romance book in future?
Not unless someone is pressuring me to do. I mean,
So if you're
I
passionate,
mean,
you have a chance.
no, the thing is, I believe a fiction writer is a fiction writer. Within the fiction, mythological, historical, romance, or science fiction, thriller, detective, whatever, fiction is fiction, right? I'm willing to try. I'm willing to try other genres within fiction. For example, I have been into historical fiction all the time, and I gave one psychological novella, socio-psychological, and the work in progress that I'm writing now is also socio-psychological novel. So within fiction, I can, why not? I mean, love, I can live and love, which I never did in my life, right? Let me try that also. I don't mind. Why not?
Yes, yes. One more question we have in the chat by Shikhar. Beta readers or professional reviewers?
Professional reviews, beta readers. If the beta readers are sincere readers, I would go for beta readers. And if the professional readers are sincere readers, I would go for professional readers. Why not?
Whoever suits ma'am's needs, she'll choose them.
I mean, how they read? Are they really able to read? Are they really reading?
Yeah.
These are very important for me. Yeah.
No, when the term even professional reviewers is it's a debatable term. There is
That's
no
why that's why I'm saying that. Are they even reading? It's important for me that are they reading, because I know many people, they come and come on stage, big shots. I mean, they take the mic, they will talk and talk for 45 minutes. Beat around the bush. They are supposed to have come after reading the book. Okay. They opened and that's all. They didn't even bother to see more. And in the end, there have been funny incidents. And in the end, the person will wrap up his talking with saying, "Oh, the poetry collection was wonderful." In the end, it was a short story collection. So such funny things I've come across in life. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
it's an insult. It's an
Definitely.
insult for the author. However good or however bad the content of the book, I'm not going into that. But the very fact that the book was given to you to read and come and talk, right?
Yes.
The
Actually, that's a
poetry,
very awkward situation.
the poetry collection was fantastic. What poetry collection? Where did I write?
Yes.
The author is, shocked. So those whether they read is very important.
Yeah, okay. So I think that's all the questions that we have for now, and I think we have covered a lot of things in today's session. We got to know a lot about her perspectives, and we got a bit of idea about her different books and characters. So I would take this opportunity to thank everyone who has taken part in this discussion and made it so insightful, funny, and definitely engaging. So before we leave, can we just have you all in the cameras, and can you just introduce yourself, speak two words, I mean 2 sentences about yourself so that we know each other better. We know about Rehna, we know about Reshmi, we know about Sakshi. Shikhar is also somebody that we know, but we have Hema ma'am, Asha ma'am as new people. Nitesh is our technical guy. So Hema ma'am, would you like to go? Ma'am, you're on mute.
So I got introduced to Jayanthi ma'am through another common friend. She's on Chennai. I believe you're still in Chennai, or have you left?
No. I came back to Singapore on 18th February.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we've been connected virtually, so it really didn't matter to me whether you're here or
Yes.
there. So I happen to be the secretary of the Chennai Poets Circle, and so chance to invite her for our annual seminar. So she was an acquaintance then, but now I feel she's much more than. On that day, she was an acquaintance in the morning when we went at 7:30. But by the end of the day, she was a family member, the member of the Chennai Poets Circle. So that's how the bonding was, and it continues to be. So
Awesome.
many unspoken words, but the bonding is there. And I
Yes.
thoroughly enjoyed this session, and thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for being here, Hema. Thank you very much.
I didn't want to miss it, come what may. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
thinking
so
of
much.
me. Thanks,
Thank you so much for joining, spending your Sunday time with us, ma'am. We're so
My
honored to
pleasure.
have you here.
Yes. Thank you very much.
And Asha, ma'am, if you don't have much internet issues.
Thank you. Yeah, I think so. Thanks, Jayanthi ma'am. Actually, I just started writing. No, writing I started in my young age, but stories, publishing, and all this I'm starting to do now. And probably under the mentorship of Jayanthi ma'am, I think I'll do well. And this session is really useful. And useful. And thank you so much.
Most welcome. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming, Asha. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So once again, while winding up, I would like to say about our club EBC, Elegant Book Club. And since we have people from different parts of India, Hema ma'am is from Chennai. Soon we expect a chapter to be opened at Chennai. If we have enough readers, like young readers, right now our club is filled with young readers. The max to max age limit is 35 to 40. We would love to call them young. So that's our age limit. We always welcome readers, even more age. We don't care, because if you can connect our reading, that's the greatest thing. And at EBC, when we choose books for reading, the books are spread across different genres, different perspectives, and even there are regional book discussions that happen at EBC, where we select a book for our Kerala group, where we select a book for our Kolkata group. Even that happens. So here at EBC, what we aim is to inculcate the habit of reading, without much hindrances. We provide chances for reading. Even we invite authors like Jayanthi ma'am. Jayanthi ma'am would know Hamna, right?
I don't know. Who's that?
Sana Rose. Sana Rose.
Oh, Sana Rose, I know.
Yeah, yeah. She just changed her name. Like she came to her original name. That's Dr. Hamna Labib. Even Sana had a session here, both the author session and the discussion. So even during her discussion, we had a chat on this marketing thing. You both together did a session too. So we have so many authors in our group and with whom we are collaborating. So first of all, we are so thankful to Jayanthi ma'am for accepting our invite
Thank you. Thank
as
you.
for the author interaction, and hope you had the best time on this day, on
Thank
this
you.
Sunday.
Yes.
And yes, ma'am. And we have a group discussion of your book awaiting in April. Probably
Yes.
it's on 16th of April, and we hope to meet you again there with
Yes.
lots perspective.
I hope more readers who have read the book can come
Exactly.
next
Yes,
month.
yes.
Like Asha has already read. So when there
Yeah.
is a discussion, she's easy to participate. So
Yeah.
I hope more people read and come. Thank you very much, Kavi, for the opportunity. Thanks for all the efforts that you have put in to
Thank you.
gather the audience and things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. So happy Sunday to everyone. Hope you
Yes.
have a great day ahead. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks for
Thank you,
joining. See you in the
Shikar.
next video.
Thank you, Shikar, for for the questions and the detective part of yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much for answering them, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Thank
thank
you.
you all.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
guys.
ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Bye.
everyone.
everyone. Thanks.
Bye.
Namaste, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for the wonderful afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Our pleasure. Ma'am, there's a red button on your screen. You can click on it and exit.
Click on it.
And
Which one?
exit. You
Oh,
leave
you
the
mean? Oh, okay.
red button. तू कहाँ था? Hopefully. क्या मतलब होपफुली? मुझे वीडियो सेंड करना है उन्हें. हाँ, एंड मेक इट रेडी. कल तक भेजना है उनको. बाय.